Good evening. What's good, people? Welcome back to the Race for Europe show. Welcome back to Football's 12th Man podcast. I'm your host, Dan Potts. We're with Dan United. We're with Errol. And Jace is stepping in for Lawless tonight. Lawless ain't very well, bless him. He's got a bellyache. It's more than that, but I'm going to call it a bellyache just to wind him up. Tobes is on holiday. Pete will be with us. Obviously, Lewis is at the game. So that's us for tonight. Well, I'm not going to get too carried away, but if Carlsberg did seasons, then it's lining up to be one for me. This has been a beautiful season so far. I can't even lie to you people. I just hope that I'm sipping more than a Carlsberg come May because there's still a long way to go. But West Ham in a relegation battle, Liverpool absolutely in the mud, Chelsea definitely in the mud, Manchester United without Weghorst up front instead of Ronaldo. Listen, Tottenham, let's just laugh at Tottenham again. I mean, it was an absolute Spursy moment last night, and I just could not stop laughing for a very, very long time. So I don't really know where to start, but I suppose I was going to start with Pete and Dan, but I'm going to come to Errol because Pete is joining us. How did you? I mean, was it a matchstick in your eyes situation like me, Errol? What the hell was going on with that game?
Bro, we're just shit at the minute. Like, there's you can't dress up as shit like this. There's no way you can spruce it up. It's like flogging a dead horse. She's getting me out here nearly every other week, and I'm meant to be able to cheerlead and I'm pump the team up and be like, yes, we've got this. We're still in with a chance. The only thing that is a saving grace for us right now is nowhere of the established teams seem to want top four either. Everybody seems to be quite happy and adequately shit in the bed all at the same time. Every single weekend when someone drops the ball, you think, all right, it's an opportunity for us to capitalize. The next team go and shit the bed. The next team go and drop a point or draw. It's and that is, to be fair, that's part of the hope that's killing you. I wish right now, as you're sitting there saying, of course, Big did seasons, I wish there was another two teams in this league. And maybe Newcastle is that team. It's just because I haven't seen it for a long enough spell. I know you can say, all right, it's been long enough this season, yeah, but maybe you're better off backing an outsider, because if you would have been backing any of these established, I'm not really going to say Man U, because Man U were, I'd say, are relatively safe, despite, I can't wax lyrical about them, but they're relatively safe. Spurs, they're going to shit the bed. Chelsea are like us. We've already shit the bed. We're diarrhea right here. We aren't even solid stools at the moment, us in Chelsea. That's how poor we are. West Ham, they've been nowhere to be seen since like the third week of the season. So, to sit here and say that, the established teams, I almost want one of them to just put the final nail in the coffin for us, but I think I'm asking for Pete, who's just come and at the right time to just put us out of our misery. You Newcastle lads in your black and white, put us out of our misery, nail on fucking top four, so I don't have to talk about it again. The race is done. I've ran my race. I know I gave it my best shot. Do you get me? I came out here with the most chest all season and gave it my best. This Liverpool team have let me down.
They have, man. They really have. And I think, it's fair to say Jurgen Klopp has left.
You
ruthless.
What was this all about? I gave it my best shot. Fuck, it's a shame the 11 on the pitch never did, isn't it? Eh? Jesus Christ.
That's it. Shit. Put me out here looking deluded. Like, if we would have played these predictions back to front all season, I would look like one of the most deluded fans that's out there. But like most level-headed Liverpool fans, we weren't over them. Like, it wasn't that far out of the realms of possibility that we could go and take the challenge this season. Like, that was just a reasonable expectation.
What is happening with Dan? What is going on?
My internet went off upstairs.
I was so confused, but we're all good. Listen, I think Jurgen, I'm getting an echo as well now, guys.
It's me, it's my bloody phone. Right, there we go. Carry on.
Go. We're good. Errol, I think Klopp's let you down this season as well, bro. I think it has to be said. I know some of the players aren't up for it this season and there's been changes. I get it. But I'm starting to wonder what's going on with him now. Like, he's been so stubborn with certain decisions. I do think there was, at the weekend, I was gutted because I couldn't go to the Emirates, and I was at an event and I was watching the Man City Liverpool game. And when Salah scored, I went mental. I was like, come on. this is going to be it. Come on. And then I just see you get destroyed. And I mean, seriously destroyed. This is not the same Liverpool, man. And I look at the players. I don't really see much of a difference in terms of personnel. You definitely got some weaknesses for sure. But that is a team that for the last 4 years, I've seen blitz teams. And I'm starting to wonder what Jurgen Klopp is about at the moment in terms of the stubbornness. Because for me, bro, it's a worry moving forward now with Jurgen Klopp starting to look a little bit like Wenger was towards the end of his tenure for me. He really
What
is,
have I
man.
been saying?
Don't
What have I been
say
saying? He's gone.
Don't say
He's
that.
gone.
Don't say that. You know what it
I'm not
is,
saying
yeah?
anything,
And I don't know
I'm
whether it was
just
on,
doing the movie.
I don't know whether it was on this show or on Grizz's channel, but I said a while back that Klopp needs to be held accountable as well. And not in a reactionary way and being like, oh, we need a new manager and all that nonsense, but more just in the sense of Jurgen Klopp's got a lot to answer to, like what he's been doing so far in the season. And I think it might have been before the World Cup. I was thinking what he's done so far hasn't worked. We could be doing, we need to move. We've got a new forward that doesn't play in the mold of our older forwards that we've had. We need to start to accommodate him. We need to move and change the formation. The three in midfield's not working. We want a double. We should be operating with at least a double pivot. Help Fabinho. I'll get him some legs in and around him. We had about a 3-4 week stint. I think there was an international break before the World Cup, and he decided that we tried that formation. Then we had a couple more injuries. Jota goes out injured, and then it's like revert back to type. Then because we've not got the pieces of the jigsaw to try it, or I can't find anyone else to kind of shoehorn in or give minutes in those positions. We're gonna revert back to type because everyone's had enough time within these positions to understand the roles and the jobs. And then he's come back after the World Cup and he's basically said, look, I've looked at these lads in the eyes and they've said to me, like, reading their eyes, I can see that they're up for the fight. They know what challenge lies ahead for the rest of the season. At that point in time, we've still got the prospects of going against Real Madrid. And you're thinking, all right, well, that's a big mountain to climb in Europe. But obviously now we're on a top 4 chase. And I've been saying it for a while. I just thought he needs to be held accountable because there's been so many times where he's come out and he's not stuck to his conviction. He's not stuck to the fact that what we need to do on the pitch needs to be changed. And then he went and said that the lads are on a level good enough to be doing what we need them to be doing. And they've not went and delivered it. They've let him down in return to that. And then third, the icing on the cake for me is he needs new backroom staff. If he's going to stay, he needs maybe not a whole new wholesale team behind him, but he needs 1 or 2 men to say, thank you, I've done my time, I've ran the course of this project with you. I've seen it get to the highest of the highs. It's the right time for me to bow out, and we'll get you some fresh blood to give you some new ideas, to not particularly be yes men, and to kind of refreshing the attitude and the approach to certain things that happens behind the scenes. Because right now we just look stale, and everyone looks devoid of ideas. And I think Klopp's looking around, hoping that other people will kind of going to do it.
I'll put this comment up for a reason, Errol, because not sure if Klopp was putting out a message there with that team or if it was pure rotation. Because for me, it looked like it was concentrate on the weekend against Arsenal and let this one go.
Yeah, it was 50-50. I think it's because, in all fairness, Chelsea have been shocking as well. So they're the least threatening prospect out of the 3 that we've had to play. We've already blew 3 points to City. If there's a team that I can play a weakened team against and potentially get something out of the game, it's going to be this Chelsea team that just can't score, even if he was in a brothel right now. So it's peak for them. It really is. And I think Chelsea, I tweeted before, I said the only thing is if Chelsea had Romelu Lukaku up top, it'd have still been 0-0. Like Chelsea's run of forwards over God knows how many years now. They're just shit out of luck. And that's the one thing that team needs, because look at that midfield. Kovacic, Kante coming back. He looked like the fittest player on the pitch tonight.
Yeah.
You've got Kante coming back and you've got that Enzo Fernandez. That midfield, they should be, well, they did. They outran us. They ran us into the ground. Better quality, better on the ball, more control. But they just got no one up top with either the confidence or the conviction to actually put a game to bed. And if they had that final piece of their jigsaw, maybe Graham Potter's still in a job. Who knows? Do you know what I mean?
I thought Enzo tonight was quality, I've got to say, and I thought Fofana was good as well. But other than that, it was a dead game of football. Sorry, Pete.
No, I was going to say, I think if Raheem Sterling had started ahead of Havertz, he probably would have nicked a goal. I was surprised. I didn't look at the bench. but I was surprised he was on the bench. I think it's been a terrible move for him going to Chelsea. Really has knocked his career for six. And
He wants
him
to
not
come back
getting
to
the
us.
well, you know what, you could do a lot worse than getting Raheem Sterling back at you guys. But for me, I mean, you mentioned that, you know, even if they'd had someone like Lukaku or whoever that would have won the game. No, I think they would have won the game with those players. I think Havertz is just he's shocking. He's so bad, and they spent so much money on him. I can't believe
He's awful.
how bad he is. Like, he's dreadful. He's a guy that just needs to leave. He needs to
I wish
leave.
Lewis was here, though. I wish Lewis was here because I want to know, where do you get the best out of someone like Havertz? Because I think there's a quality footballer in there.
Yeah, I was just about to say exactly what Dan said. I'm sorry. There are certain players that are just not suited to playing in England, and Havertz is that. And you could see after 1 year of playing at Chelsea, you could just
He's
tell
terrible,
he
man.
wasn't quite set for English football. And that's not like any like a finger pointing at him. It's just some players are just not suited to playing in the Premier League. The Premier League is very different to a lot of different leagues, and I've got no doubt that if he went back to Germany or even to Italy, playing in a different type of league, different style of football, that he would smash it up.
Slower league. He'd look good in a slower league, wouldn't he, Pete? I think could get a slower sort of game suits his gameplay.
Both of those leagues are the same. But honestly, Errol, I have to say, and I'm not hitting on you right now. From a kind of an outsider's point of view, I watched that game tonight. I could not believe how bad Liverpool were.
Yeah, it was shocking. I watched it as well.
I'm not even joking. They looked like a team that were in the bottom half of the table. They genuinely
are, aren't they? Well, they're not far off.
Well, yeah, not far off. But I mean, obviously, lots of differences. But I couldn't believe it. Like you've just said it, Errol. That midfield got cut through like butter time and time again. You got out muscled. I'm surprised Fabinho staying on the pitch. He could have got yellow cards over the course of the game. The forward line just looked weak.
Curtis Jones, can I just bring him up? He is. What is he doing? He's not good enough, man. Sorry. There's no way he's good enough. Curtis Jones is like a. Go on, Errol.
Well, no, go on. Let you finish what you're going to say.
I just don't. I don't get that guy, man. I look at him and I think, you know, I look like. Do you remember when Harry Winks was in the Spurs midfield and no one quite understood what he was about? That's what I liken it to. I'm a bit like that with him, and I think I know the fans want you to be good, but you ain't gonna be. You're not even gonna be a Milner or a Henderson, let alone a Gerrard. So what are you doing in there, man? Do you know what I mean? And like, Dan, let me come to you on that. Like for me, tonight, what shocked me more the team selection, because I would have thought they would have gone for this one tonight and gone, right, Chelsea are on their asses, beat them, and then we get confidence going into Arsenal. And it looks like they've kind of thought, well, don't matter if we don't win this one. We'll try and win on Sunday and rest everyone. I'm surprised by that, Dan.
I think for me, the team selection tonight, to me, I think we're starting to see a lot of rumblings, I think, in the squad. And I think players that I was going to say Pep then, that Klopp has relied on, trusted, and allowed to do their thing for so long. This season, they've just let him down in every way possible, haven't they? I think there's more to come from this, Errol. And I'm not saying this is. I've said for months now. I think he goes the end of the season. I think we're starting to see the beginning of some major fallouts now. Someone commented in the chat. I think did Alisson and Henderson have a bit of a spat on the pitch tonight as well? That's not a Klopp Liverpool side. I've seen you guys in the trenches, and that's something that kept you guys going when Klopp first got there. Was togetherness, and it was you against the world. Quite like the Scouts sort of taking it, isn't it? It's us against everyone. I just feel like there is so much that we're not seeing in this team at the moment. I think there's so much going on behind the scenes. I mean, even this week now, you're starting to see a lot of Liverpool fans that have started. They're coming and questioning, aren't they? Now with Klopp, they're coming out and saying, "Is it time? Has he had his day here?"
I completely agree with everything that you just said. Even the
Dan and Pete really like They think he's going there, or
can't-
they think he's going.
Yeah,
there.
I know, that's fine. Like,
Keeps
and
moving.
again, from their perspective, I would understand why they would want someone like Jurgen Klopp to leave Liverpool. It's been a perfect match for player, for manager and club for years. But the thing that's the most disappointing, or one of the most disappointing things for me personally, is the players have let themselves down that much. It's like being off the boil a little bit. You know what I mean? You play yourselves. Have a few bad games run, but you pick up the form again. You start beating the teams that you should beat. You're drawing against your teams in and around you. There's all those things that can happen in a bit of an off season. But what shouldn't be happening is we shouldn't have played as many games away from home this season and lost as many games as we have to all sizes of club this season. If we've been away from home, our away form has been awful. The standard shouldn't have dropped that much where you're having to bring on a 75-year-old James Milner in games like Real Madrid, in fucking games like Chelsea, in games like City. You shouldn't be bringing, someone who's ready for his bus pass to enter the fray, to be the legs and the energy in your midfield. That should never really happen. And I think once we went down that road, especially from the outside looking in, and that's why I think it's interesting to listen to outside fans' perspectives, because you will see things without the red tinted glasses. And probably might see things for what they are. Right now, this team have dropped the standard that much that we do not have the grace of allowing them that. Well, this is the team that used to be able to go on that 15-game unbeaten run, or this is the team that nearly went on to win the quadruple. All of those accolades fall away because of how low the standard has sunk this season. And to me, that's the most disappointing thing, because you can have an off season. That season with it, when we finished third in the end, you could understand there was extenuating circumstances, the injuries, but the team had fight, desire, wanted to get back to where they needed to be. He was defending the title. You could still give them the flowers. This team, man, this team.
Errol, can I ask you a question? With regards to the players that are there, something that I've sort of been watching the past few weeks, and I think the word peak is key here. Do you think the issue is here you've got too many players there who have maybe hit their peak and past it now? Because I look at players in that team, and I honestly I don't recognise half of them. For me, I know we had a bit of a joke about Premier League 11 and all that malarkey, but I don't recognise Virgil van Dijk anymore. No, I don't recognise him. And actually, I'll say this: does Virgil van Dijk get into any other top 4 club at the moment?
No.
There's arguments to say he would, because of the centre backs he'd be probably then paired next to. I think that might be the only saving grace. Does he, on his own merit, walk into them? Is probably what you're asking me. There's an argument to say he doesn't. But I think most of us, is Saliba still injured for you, Dan?
Yeah, unfortunately. He's going to miss Liverpool.
Would you have Virgil van Dijk walk into your defence?
Over Holding, I would, yes.
There we go.
Yeah, but hang on, you're going over an injury.
No, but that's the circumstance right now, though. That's the circumstance. That's what we've got to play with. Virgil van Dijk might be available. They haven't got Saliba. Virgil van Dijk walks into their team. Would you have him at the moment in Man U to partner next to your best centre back? Who would you say has been your centre back this season? Would you say it's been the butcher?
Look, I know they've conceded 7 against you guys, 2 against Newcastle, 4 against. Well, no, actually, to be fair, they didn't play together in that. But I wouldn't have Van Dijk. I wouldn't. And that's not me saying it as a United fan. I just for me, I don't think he's been the same player since the.
I think if everyone's fit, I don't think he gets in. He doesn't get ahead of Gabriel Saliba. Doesn't get ahead of Martinez and Varane for me either. Doesn't get ahead of Shah or Botman, because they've been an absolute unit.
They've been, yeah.
So I think you've got to wait for one of them to get injured to come in. But it's not just him. Like Trent this season, like even Robertson in parts this season. The midfield, I mean, Fabinho looks done and like dusted. But it really has been bad. Jace, let me bring you in, man, because
I just wanted to say this. Sorry, I think it's complete bollocks.
What is
Klopp was cocky tonight. He thought he could get an easy win, right? I'm telling you now, right? Listen here, right? He's too cocky.
Easy wins round, not away from home.
He thought he could get away with it because hold on a second, hold on. He thought Chelsea are in the shit. He thought, hold on a sec. He goes, wait a minute, we'll beat them. Let me just put out this team because we got Arsenal coming up. I'm telling you now, he's a cocky. He's cocky. He thought he could get away with this. And look what's happened. Look what's that. He got a draw out of it. All right, happy days for him, I guess. He was too cocky, and we all know it. We all know it. He
Interesting.
thinks he got away with it because Chelsea's in the mud at the moment. They're shit. They're falling apart. Everything's going wrong for them. Let me put this team out and see what I can get out of it and save it for Arsenal. I'm telling you now, it's obvious.
Do you know what's funny, right? Is Lawler said, if you get Jace on, Jace don't like Liverpool. And I know why now. Straight away, cocky, Klopp's cocky. Love it.
Have you seen us away from home this season, though, mate?
I've seen he thought, come on.
He's got
You look at Chelsea.
right to be cocky.
You look
He's
at
got no right to
Chelsea.
be cocky.
You know what's going on there. You know it's Klopp. He's typical Klopp. It is. They put all their eggs in Real Madrid. They put all their eggs in one basket for Real Madrid, hyping themselves up, thinking they're going to beat everyone, thinking they're going to win that cup. They knew it. I'm telling you, and it's all falling apart for Liverpool. It's falling apart. It is. It's all going down.
Look at Errol's
clear to see. It's clear to see. Sorry, you're cut up about Liverpool's downfall. I can tell.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that. I'm telling you the truth here. Come on.
The one thing I'll add.
Why did you do it?
The one thing I add is to what Dan said, because what you said, Dan, is what I was thinking and what I was going to say. Is if you look at Liverpool's squad, all the players that he relies on heavily, the vast majority, are all in their 30s or beyond. And so, and this is why I think about Klopp, and I think this maybe is why Dan thinks about Klopp potentially walking away, because it's not just about bringing players in to kind of incorporate to what you've already got. You're going to have to replace a Henderson soon. You're going to have to replace a Salah soon, and you've bought like 4 different strikers already, and none of them are a replacement for Salah. So you've got to do that at some point. You've got Van Dijk in his 30s now that you're going to have to replace. You've got Robinson that's approaching 30. You know, you've got Alisson that's the same. Like
he's a keeper. He's a keeper. This is what I argue. This is what I argue with Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans have become so accustomed to seeing the Van Dijks, the spine of our team, the Van Dijks, the Fabinhos, the Hendersons, the Salahs, the Robertsons. They've been so used to seeing them and the way that they play football. They feel or forgot that there are other ways to be just as effective and other ways to entertain playing ball. And I've been saying for the longest time, the next iteration of a Klopp 2.0 looks, it might be just as effective, it might be just as competitive, but in terms of pound for pound players and profiles, it'll be worlds apart. I said that in a space the other day when we had Coutinho. Everyone was like, "Oh, what's life going to be like after Coutinho?" Klopp didn't replace a Coutinho with a Coutinho profile-esque player. He decided, you know what, I'm going to change the style in which we play, and our fullbacks are going to become our creative force. Trent Alexander-Arnold, get further up the pitch. You've got license to roam. Robbo, get to that byline and do some more cutbacks. That's what I need, because that's what's going to create goals. Nobody at the time thought at any point that was how we was going to cope post Coutinho, but that's what he went and done. When we lost Wijnaldum, he didn't decide to go and get.
That's the best comment of the night. I'm so sorry.
That is the best comment ever. What 13X doesn't realise is we all live together. We're still in different
we're just in different rooms. Apart from me, everyone, mine's actually like, we can't really see it here. Mine's actually bluer than everyone else's. But
Harold, I think what you're saying, mate, is spot on. And I think the thing is that Liverpool fans have been treated to, in my eyes, and look, I'm United. I fucking hate Liverpool, you know that. But you've been treated the last few years to one of the best Premier League sides to play in the division. I mean, what Klopp's team was achieving was absolutely unreal. You know, unreal. They were just stunning to watch. But cycles come to an end, and it's how you navigate the cycle into the next one. Do you know what I mean? It's how you navigate into the next one.
You look at what Sage was just put in the chat, though. Klopp's never done a 2.0 at any club. And that's a really, really great point. It's because he hasn't. Wherever he's gone, he's done the first stage of rebuilding a team and making them and taking them to a certain level. And then when he's took them there, he's gone. And this feeds into that. Has he got it in him at this point to go to a 2.0 where he might well, for the next 2 or 3
we've already
years,
started it though, mate. I think we've already.
Yeah.
I think it's been kind of bubbling up anyway. Under the fact that he was able to let Mane go, we went and got a Nunes, we got Diaz. We've ended up getting he's put so much faith into a Harvey Elliott. He went and tried to get that Calvin Ramsey there for Trent. Was that to move Trent into midfield? I think there have been plans for a 2.0 for the last 12 to 18
Do you not
months.
think as well, like Pete and
Been
Errol,
signing that extension as well to just make sure it got bedded in. The signs were
But
there.
it's
We just
not-
haven't
it's-
executed.
it's
I
not
think
been
he
done the
needs
right
two
way,
or
though.
three players to come in, and I'm talking like marquee
At
signings,
least.
not bit parts, to come into that first 11, and then all of a sudden we start to see Liverpool coming back. Because I don't think they're miles and miles away from being a half decent side again. I think they're quite far away from a title. But I think if you looked at, let's just say they're not going to get these players, but if you looked at Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and a centre half, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, Liverpool are back. Christ. They're looking all right. That 11's back. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he can defend again all of a sudden. He's all right all of a sudden.
But
Someone's
without
next to
Champions
him.
League football, Pots,
I don't think it's
without Champions
miles
League football, can they afford those players?
Well,
You're talking about those marquee players that Rice is going to cost crazy amounts of money. Bellingham is going to cost crazy amounts of money, and whoever else comes in. Now, the problem is that Klopp built his team on the likes of Salah and one or two other players that didn't cost that level of money. Maybe Van Dijk, he pushed the boat out. Robinson cost
Van Dijk and
next to
Alisson were the
nothing.
big ones, weren't they?
Some of those players like Trent came through the academy. He didn't spend that crazy amount of money, but the transfer market has changed now. A Salah that's going to be available is not only just going to be available to a Liverpool, but he's now going to be available to a Newcastle, to an Aston Villa, to a Man United, to an Arsenal. So they're all looking at the same pockets of players now. And all of those teams have got finances that can either equal or exceed what Liverpool are trying to sign. And that's going to be a big problem. Now, it goes back to the point that I'm trying to make is that Liverpool, yes, they might already be in their 2.0, and that's absolutely fine. But is Klopp willing to sacrifice a year, maybe 2, maybe even 3, of not getting Champions League football, or maybe missing out on Champions League football, not fighting for a title, but equally have the fans got it in them to see 2 or 3 years of that? Because you can already see the rumblings now, and that's after 1 year. Have they got it in them to see another year, or maybe even another, of them not being successful and Klopp still being at the club? You clearly still want Errol, Klopp to still be at the club, and that's absolutely fine. You know, if it was Howe in this situation for me, I would be exactly the same. But you know as well as I do that there's a majority of the fans out there that are starting to question, like Potts said earlier, starting to question Klopp a little bit. And we know in this day and age, it's not like an Alex Ferguson now or an Arsene Wenger where you can build another team and you get given the time. Teams like you see with Tuchel and one or two others, they just want you out and then want to start again. And it's a different world that we're in now. And that's why I do think that there's a chance that he walks.
He's got credit in the bank for me, and he'll have credit in the bank for a lot of Liverpool fans, because I think a lot of Liverpool fans,
rightly so as well. Rightly so.
I think they believe the issues are above Klopp for by and large. I think the thing that you've got to look at as well, he's the longest serving Premier League manager left now as well, so he has that kind of heritage within the league. I think it's easy to say. It seems really easy for me to say as a manager or as a project, managing expectations, because what you're saying, Peter, is we've written this season off now, not by choice, but through action. We've had to write this season off. If he gets players in next season, is it going to be more transitional because you're going to get them to bed in and you're going to have to? From my perspective, if we was more outwardly vocal about what the ambition is and setting our stall out early about, right, I've landed all of my top targets. I've had no hiccups in the transfer market and we've spent the money. I believe we're going to go on a title run. If you then don't deliver on that title run and we're all is as bad as we are again in 12 months' time, then I can understand why people are going to get on your back. However, if you're transparent enough to say, I've got players that I'm happy to work with, it's going to take us time. We are going to get back to the levels you've seen us perform at the past, but it might take us this season to start to forward that. I think he'd still get next season, provided the results backed up his statements. If we was lingering, floating and orbiting around 4th and 5th, for the majority of the season with the prospects of pushing into the top 4. I think people would give him the chance to do that with a newer, fresh squad. It's just about how we frame it. If we start selling people dreams and we've just bought the next Naby Keita and man's got a shit injury record and we can't get him on the pitch for more than 15 minutes, lads, people are going to lose their heads. I'll be honest.
Yeah, man.
Where do you see yourself finishing?
Yeah, I was going to ask Errol. Come on.
Yeah.
This season now, someone on Twitter half convinced me before that Europa League might not be the worst thing for us. And if you offered me it now,
Conference
you
Cup.
didn't want it. You didn't want it.
I know, I didn't, and I still really don't. My heart doesn't, but I don't want to be one of those guys that's just like, I'm too good for the Europa.
Errol, I can tell you, mate, from the bottom of my heart, I'm with you. I hope Liverpool get Europa League, mate. From the bottom of my heart, I hope they do. You've got my backing.
I think we'll finish 5th or 6th. Realistically, it's not what I want, but I think we'll probably just finish just short of top 4 now.
Big up, man.
First time I'm going to say it.
Big up, man. Listen, we're going to move because otherwise we're going to be talking about Liverpool. Before we do, some predictions from, I'm going to come all of you. Predictions for the Arsenal-Liverpool game at Anfield. It's going to be a huge one. Dan, start with you.
See, now, I've just got a feeling that they'll do something. I hate saying it, but I've just got a feeling they'll do something, you know? I mean, look, I was confident we'd get a draw there, and we know what happened there. Obviously, you're a lot further, in your story than we are. But I just got a funny feeling. Look, I said this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this running, and I said if there's any club that can cause an upset, it'll be Liverpool. So I've got a sneaky suspicion 2-1 Liverpool. I can't believe I'm saying it. I've got a sneaky 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm with Dan on Liverpool.
When's our marriage, Pete? You mean you agree more than my wife?
I agree. You look at Liverpool's games against Man U, Man City. They know when to turn up against these teams, which raises the question about the mentality. Is that they're able to raise it for these teams, but not for some of the others. The Forest, for example, and teams like that, Bournemouth. There's massive question marks there for me in terms of mentality. But I'm going to go for a Desmond. I think it's going to be a 2-2 game. I think Arsenal will take the lead twice, and Liverpool will pull you back twice.
Fair play, Jace.
Yeah, I can see that as exactly the same 2-2. I think. Arsenal leading as well on the goals. It's definitely going to happen. I think definitely going to happen.
Errol,
I was going to go 2-1. To be fair to Liverpool, I think it is the game that we're going to turn up against, and yeah, I'll take it. At the moment, I just want to win. Anyone should be able to just get it right now. And I'm sorry it has to be Dan and his Arsenal team because you've been the most humble out of all the Arsenal fans this season, but. We've got to have a say in who wins this title, and if that's the say we have, I'll take a 2-1.
Listen, I'm going to back my boys, of course, and I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal, but I'm not going to sit there and say that this is going to be a breeze. I absolutely hate the place, if I'm honest with you. Haven't won there since 2012, 2013 season with Podolski and Cazorla. That's how long it's been, man. So horrible places. I went there last couple of years and we've got battered, not just a 2-1. It's been like 4s, 5s. It's been horrible. But I just feel that this Liverpool team at the moment can be got at. And I do think that we will dominate midfield as we have. We haven't lost a game when Partey, Odegaard and Xhaka have played together. And I believe that will continue. Their midfield looks poor. I think we can dominate them. And I think Jesus will give Van Dijk a torrid time. Saka will definitely roast Newcastle or Robertson because he roasts most players. And trust me, I cannot wait for Martinelli versus Trent Alexander-Arnold. Because if Grealish can do that, trust me, Martinelli will absolutely have a field day. So I'm quietly confident that we'll be able to get some chances, but there's also the chance for me to get clipped up and make myself sound silly.
Potts.
So we'll have to see what happens, man. Go on, Dan.
Potts, one thing I will say about Arsenal this season is this has been a season mainly of Arsenal being asked questions and them having the answers. So if there's going to be a season where you're going to stop the rot away at Anfield, this is the season, I think. This will be the season.
Yeah, and you're right, Dan. We have managed to overcome most tests, but I need to see one more test, and that is if you cannot win the game, do not lose. Because we went to Old Trafford, as you know, Dan, earlier on in the season, and everyone said we were the better team. We didn't win the game. So we need to know how to, if we're getting dominated, which Liverpool have the chance to do in parts of the game, do not slip up. And with Rob Holding, because Saliba's going to be back, it's a huge game for him. Huge game, because it's fine doing it against Crystal Palace and Leeds at home. But when you go to Anfield away, that's when it matters. And everybody at the moment within this squad has come in and been a little bit have contributed to this side, whether it's Jorginho with the last-minute winner against Villa, Nelson with the last-minute winner against Bournemouth, Eddie Nketiah with the last-minute winner against Man United. They've all come into the squad and done something, which everyone's saying, oh, it's written in the stars, Arsenal going to win it. Your whole squad contributing, just like Man City did when they had North coming in and they had players like Gundogan over the years that have come in and done the business. For me, I need to see this now, and I can't get to this stage with 9 games left and it go wrong. So I need us to keep that momentum going, man. So, wanted to touch on Arsenal quickly before we come to West Ham, and then we'll finish on Dan and Pete, who can go at it after their game at the weekend. But Arsenal looks back. Jay, start with you, man. Love to hear your opinion, seeing as Lawless never gives us any credit. What do you think of Arsenal's performances at the moment, and do you think that we can go on and do it, mate?
You know what? You'll be shocked, but that's outstanding. I think you've been. I've got to give you credit to the team. You know what Arteta's done. It's been fantastic.
Thanks, Jace. You can come on again. We'll get Lawless. Lawless can have a bellyache next week as well. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, it hurts me to say it as well, being another London team, but it's what can you say? What can you say? You just keep getting those wins out of nowhere, don't you? You're just getting there. You're just getting in there. You're scoring the goals. Saka's been unbelievable. Yeah. What else can I say about the team? I can't give you. I know I'm giving you so much credit here. It just makes me feel sick. To be honest, it really does make me feel sick. But
mate,
it's what else? What can you say about the team? Brilliant.
It's been looking good at the moment, man. I can't lie. And Jesus being back, Trossard for me has to go down as being one of the best January transfer signings ever. I mean, that
cheap as chips as well.
Honestly, ridiculous, mate. I don't know what's happening with Dan again. He's
sorry. I think it's my work laptop. Sorry about that,
right,
guys.
Mate. No, you're fine, man. You're fine. Errol's gone now as well. What is happening with Wi-Fi's tonight? Pete, let's come to you. Someone who has bigged up Arsenal this season. I know it's Palace and Leeds, and you can't get too excited at home by them, but in parts we obliterated them, mate. I thought against Leeds, and Jesus being back, Trossard being back, we rested Thomas Partey, and Saka was able to be rested. Partey come off and got some rest, and everything's kind of set up for us to go at Liverpool at the weekend and with fresh faces other than Saliba. So are Arsenal going to be able to keep going, Pete, or is it going to be a slip up against Liverpool and Man City? And let's be fair, even if it's a draw and a loss, that could be enough to lose the league. It's crazy how it's crazy. It really is crazy.
You touched on the likes of Palace and Leeds, but they're the type of games that will win you the title. So they're just as important as the games against Liverpool at Anfield, in my opinion. The fact that you've got them in the bank and you've got them done and dusted, 6 points sorted, that stands you in really good stead. If you've got the ability to continue this on, yeah, definitely. I had to be fair, I've always said that I thought Arsenal could win the league. I was saying it back in January after we played you. We got a point against you guys at the Emirates, but I could see how good you were as a team. The way you passed the ball, the way you continued to press high. It was great to see. And even in these games against the likes of Bournemouth and various other teams, you continually push teams back even late on in the game. You get one goal back in there, and then you get a second, and you get a third. That's the hallmarks of a title-winning side. Can you continue it on? Of course you can, and I believe that you will. I thought after Man City beat you at the Emirates that they would go on and really kick on, but then they just continue to drop points. You can't just continue to drop points when you're chasing the top team. You're in the driving seat. All you've got to do is just keep winning now. You've got no distraction with the Europa League, so your full focus is now on the Premier League. And I do honestly expect you. There will be some bumps in the road, whether it's Sunday, whether it's at our place at St James's or whoever you play in the games coming up. There will be bumps in the road, but I do believe that you'll go on and win the league.
May I hope so. Dan, just quickly on this one. Lastly, you said you thought Arsenal would win the league, and we did our predictions. If you think we are going to lose to Liverpool, do you see Arsenal going and winning the rest of our games? And is one of those games Man City at the Etihad for you?
One thing this season has proved to us is anything can happen. Anything can happen this season, and I still stand by. I do believe you guys will win the league. I think you've got enough about you in the squad. I think players are coming in and doing a job for you. Jesus coming back is a massive, massive boost. So yeah, I think you do. I think you do.
I hope so, man. I really hope so. Jace, let's come to West Ham. You finally got a result, mate. I can't lie, it was an absolute bore fest in parts. I watched it, but you got the job done. I want to get your opinions because Lawless is on here every week. Moyes out, get him gone, Moyes out. But we're going to win the Conference League. So seeing as your debut on this show, man, I want to get your thoughts on West Ham, David Moyes, and whether you can win that prestigious award that Lawless is so desperate to win, my friend.
Listen, the Conference Cup is a very important cup, right? It's probably, what is it, like the third best cup in the world, isn't it, really? You know, you win a trip to Butlins or something, wasn't it? Or whatever. What did Merce say? No, listen, we have to win that cup, to be honest. We're the strongest team in that competition. It'd be embarrassing if we don't win it. We'll get slated for years for not winning it.
Why are you the strongest team? Where are you sitting in your domestic league at the minute?
Yeah, but have you seen
Errol's coming back.
I'm just asking the question, throw it out there.
Have you seen the other teams in there, Errol? Like,
but where are they sitting in their domestic leagues?
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a one-horse race in their leagues, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Jace, you can't go against Liverpool, mate. He gets very.
Listen,
very.
I'll give you some tips next season when you're in it. So, you know, give you some tips and that. You know, don't worry about it.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, listen, we have to win that cup. We have to win it. It is embarrassing if we don't win that bloody cup. Come on, the players we've got. Even though there is something going on behind the scenes, it seems very toxic behind all scenes, and I think everyone can see it. We're not gelling enough. We're not gelling properly. But we have to win that cup. It's really important for us. We need it. David Moyes, he needs to go at the end of the season. I'm another one of them, guys. I'm sorry. If he wins us the cup, he wins us. If he wins, keeps us surviving. That's a nice thank you very much. But take care. Good luck when you take on another team or whatever you're doing in your life. But you need to go. You need to go from us. You need to get away from us.
Would you take Potter, Jace?
I actually would take Potter. You know that. I know it sounds crazy.
No.
I don't think it does sound crazy.
I really
Definitely
think
not.
if he gets, there for the summer, a bit more time, he gets his staff in properly and everything, I think he could do wonders for us. I think it was hard for him at Chelsea. He needed to win straight away. That was the problem. He needed to get in there, get the ball rolling at Chelsea, which, it's tough for a manager, some managers basically like that. You need a world-class manager sometimes to get in there and do that, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Is it with Moyes as well, Jace? Like, is it with Moyes? Because Lawless always says he don't pick the right team. He's horrible to Ben Rama. He's left Ariola
you
out
can
loads.
tell he's got favourites. You can tell he's got favourites, Moyes. You think to yourself, why is he playing Souček? Why is he playing why is he playing? At one point Mikel Antonio like all the time, and that like you see Bowen as well. Bowen at the start of the season was terrible turn. He kept constantly picking him, constantly picking him, and you just think to yourself, hello, what's going on here? Why are you not changing it up? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not putting this player in? Why are you not? It doesn't make sense, does it? And he's that sort of old-fashioned type manager. You stick with your guns, don't you? You stick with those players. You don't try anything new. You're too scared to do anything new. I
just don't see a board getting rid of him.
You'd rather get a draw out of a game than a win. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if he wins the cup, I don't think he goes anywhere.
Sorry,
I don't think your board's going to get rid of him, bro.
If he wins
they won't. I don't listen. Our board, you know that what our fans think of him, and that he's our boards won't. They will. I don't think they will get rid of him. I really don't. I think if he does win it and he keeps us up, he's going to be there for another. He'll be there for another year or so, whatever. You know. But it's getting really bad. He's getting toxic, too toxic, you know. And that's typical. Always happens at West Ham, you know. It's getting really, really bad at the moment. That game against Southampton, how we played
At home
as well, shocking. We was lucky to get that win, very lucky. And to be honest, we're playing Newcastle. I do think we'll get a draw though, but
whoa.
I do think we'll get a draw.
I ain't mentioning the D word.
I really do. I think we will get a draw.
Is it at St James's Park, Pete?
No.
Oh, it's at
It's in the Olympic Stadium.
Our home form's been okay-ish. We've been getting the wins here and there.
Come on, Jace.
Honestly,
okay.
Jace, I spoke to Lawless about this yesterday on our loaded preview, and I said, I asked the question because, like Potts, I watched the game on Sunday, and honestly, I'm surprised Southampton didn't get a goal. I think.
Listen, mate. I completely agree with you. I cannot say anything. Like
I just think if
I was shocked.
If you guys turn up like that tomorrow night, and we turn up like we did on Sunday, I think I'm confident.
Yeah, but it's against you. We want to stop you from. We want to stop.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, and it goes back to a mentality thing. It's like you've turned up against some of the top teams in the league this season, and you've given them a tough time. And you've got good players. Individual players are good. Aguero, great goal, good defender. You know, it's going to be a case of, are these players going to all of a sudden just go up 10, 15%? Rice 10, 15%. Paqueta.
Yeah. And again, with Paqueta as well, Moyes doesn't know where to play him. He does not know where to play. He brought in this player, and he just doesn't have a clue what he's doing with him. He really doesn't.
I don't think Moyes has any.
You've got to feel sorry for these players. You've got to feel sorry for Scamacca. You've got to feel sorry for Paqueta. They just don't. They're not feeling the love at this club. They're not feeling the love at all. And it's sad to see. It is sad to see. You know, I feel for like Errol's. You know what's going on at Liverpool. But you can tell the players love the club. They love Klopp as well. They want to play, but it's just not working for them. You know. But with us, it's different. It's really different. It's just you just feel the toxic. You just feel it. You just feel it in the background, and that. Even with Mickey, the way we treated Mickey as well. Sometimes he was going, then he was staying. You know what I mean? Like, how can you do that to someone like that? If you don't want him, then you know what I mean. And then you say at last minute, all right, you better stay because we kind of need you now, and that. How can you do that to someone like that? Do you think they're going to care about the club after that? After how we treated someone like that? Do you know what I mean? Scamacca as well. It's tough. It's tough.
No, it's tough. Dan, you still think West Ham going to go down?
Yeah, I do. I do, and I think it's because look, we'll get on to my shit show that I watched on Sunday, but Jace, I completely agree with you. I thought, even though you're at home, it was very much one-way traffic. I think Southampton were unlucky not to at least get a goal, get a point from there. There's a lot of football to be played, and I think you've got a lot of tough games coming up as well.
It made we look like we were scared of Southampton, like we were scared to make a mistake. So that's why we just literally was just like defending for our lives, and that we was just. How can you do that against that? I'm sorry, no disrespect to Southampton, but come on, those type of teams we need to start causing some trouble for them. You know.
What's your prediction, Jace? You say 1-1.
I think 1-1 though against Newcastle.
Pete, what are you going for?
I think Newcastle will win. I'm not sure if I went 2-0 or 2-1. Either way, I do think we'll win. I was worried about Willett potentially not being fixed. He's playing so well at the moment, but he trained today, so hopefully he'll be starting tomorrow. I'm confident. We have to. We've got 3 tough away games coming up. We have to keep winning. This is arguably on paper the easiest out of the 3. So we need to get points.
I think Newcastle will win it 1-0, if I'm honest. I do think they'll take it. And I think there's never really many goals against West Ham, and West Ham just don't seem to score many either. So I think it'll be 1-0. Listen, we're going to move to United, Newcastle. Tobes couldn't be with us tonight, but he has left me a message.
Oh, boy. Oh dear, oh dear. Danny boy. Oh dear, oh dear. Wout. Wank. Horse. Wout. Wank. Horse. Because he is whack. Pants. Hold that. Mouthing off about how good this guy is, blah, blah, blah. Does a job for the team, won more trophies, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy. This is what you asked for. I hope you enjoy. And Lawless, I'm not on this week, but I caught some of your game against Southampton and you were on the ropes for the entire second half. You'll probably stay up because your squad's too good, but never forget, you're a pile of cack and you're not winning that Europa Conference League.
I've actually got a message from Dan, actually. He sent me a message. He went, he goes, pass on the message to them for me. Spurs are an absolute embarrassment of a football club who are going one way, and that's down. There you go.
To be fair to him, he ain't wrong there. That is facts. He had to get in the bit about Lawless. Absolutely, 100%. Big up, Tobes, by the way. We'll be back next time. Hope he enjoys his holiday. And shame that Lawless missed that message, but I'm sure he'll be watching. Dan, might as well come to you, man. Let me tell you what I think about this Weghorst thing first. We know what Tobes thinks. We know what that's clear.
It's a shame Tobes didn't mention anything about his own club, but I'm sure.
Listen, he can look at that next time. We'll roast him next time. Wout Weghorst is an honest player, in my opinion. I don't think he's ever come to Manchester United and said he was going to be an Eric Cantona, Ruud van Nistelrooy, or even a Cristiano Ronaldo. But he's come in and I think has done a job in certain games. What I don't really get is the absolute excitement from some, not you, Man United fans, that were going absolutely mad. And I think now, for me, I think they've realised, we've got the Burnley lad up top. This could be a problem. And it looks like it might be. I thought you were terrible, mate. I thought you were absolutely awful. And big up Newcastle because they were class. But you do look at Man United sometimes and think, if you're going to play like that, looking at players like Rashford, that was unrecognisable performance of him of late. I'm sorry, but the midfield was a joke. Absolute joke. Sabitzer, McTominay. Yeah. Thoughts, Dan?
The first thought, I must admit, Weghorst, I'd just like to go on record here and say he's won more trophies than Kane, Son, and Richarlison put together. So we'll just get that out of the way, shall we? Coming at me with that bollocks. No, look, I'm going to say something that I think Errol's probably going to disagree with me about here. But I actually think that loss on Sunday was worse than the one at Anfield. For the fact, wait, Errol, wait, just please, just wait, please.
We're not
please.
doing...
Can I just say why? Because against Liverpool, we were in the game up until the 40th minute. The Newcastle game, we were nowhere near it. You can give that look, Errol, but we had shots on target against you lot. We could have gone 1-0 up. We could have. Newcastle, from minute 1 to minute 90, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. And I take my hat off. If I was wearing a hat like Peter's, I'd take my hat off to him. I think the professionalism in both clubs, both squads on that day, it couldn't have been any further apart if it tried. Players turned up for Manchester United on Sunday, and I love how everybody goes at Wout. The reason a lot of Manchester United fans are going for Wout now is, let's be honest, because Martial's back fit again at the moment. Simple as that. Now Martial's back, they want him up there. Wout was never, ever going to be a world beater. And I've said that on this show several times. Wout come in to do a job. Wout come in as a backup striker. Wout was never ever meant to start as many games as he did. He knows that. We all know that. But we can't just look at one man here. It was everybody in that game. Everybody. Scott McTominay, the worst decision possible to play that bloke. I tell you what, part of me wonders whether he just doesn't want to go to Newcastle and he said, look, play me and I'll play an absolute shitter so they don't sign me. He was absolutely shocking. I think what we saw on Sunday, and I've said this for a long time, is an over-reliance on Casemiro. We looked lost in the midfield. We had no answer to any question that Newcastle had for us. I thought Anthony, actually, you could probably say was the best of the bad bunch. I thought he was unlucky to go off that game because he was attacking, he was taking Burn on. I thought he had Burn's number a couple of times, actually. Rashford, not there. Shaw, not there. Varane and Martinez, uncharacteristic for them. But then you can't blame them for the second goal because for some incredible reason, Ten Hag decided to take the both of them off and bring on Lindelof and switch to a back. I don't know what it was, if it was a back 2 or 3, whatever. He got it wrong. He got it wrong. But the worrying thing for me was the desire and the self-belief. And actually, the self-pride in the way that you play a game of football was just completely missing. I said it in my TikTok. The only time I saw any passion from Bruno Fernandes in that game was at the end of the match when he was telling the lads to go over and applaud the away fans. That's the only time I saw any passion.
Did you say you said it in
I
your
hate him.
TikTok?
Mate, got a TikTok. Man's got TikTok. Man's got TikTok, son.
No, love it.
Man's got TikTok. You get me? No, Pete, I don't know how it was for you, mate, but I think we could still be playing that game now. I don't think United would have had a shot on target. But what I will say, before I go over to you, Pete, before I let you speak, Pete, is I'm not worried about top 4 with United. And the reason I'm not is because of like tonight and it's because of like last night.
Yeah.
We've got 2 games in hand over Spurs. I think we'll be fine. I think the main positive is we've got Casemiro coming back. Eriksen's now in training. Garnacho's not far off. That's 3 players that we could really do with coming back. Martial, if he stays fit, he will do something. I know he will. Has Fernandes got the most punchable face in football? You can hate him, but he's on his day, he's unreal. He's unplayable on his day. So, take the hate away. No,
I don't know if
I'm
it's
not
you,
worried
Dan,
about
but
top
there's a
4.
mad echo, man. I don't know if it's your phone or laptop.
It's not me.
I don't know if it's a... Nah, it's gone now.
Bollocks.
Go on, no, you're right. Dan.
No.
Go on, keep going.
No. So for me, it was a footballing lesson on Sunday, but there's far too much happening this season for us to get concerned. The other side of it is, and I will say this, we're still in both cup competitions. We won a cup. We could still get Champions League if we win the Europa League anyway. So go on,
You're
Errol.
starting to sound like lawless. You're starting to sound like fucking lawless now.
Why?
We're still in that cup, and we're still going to do this. And that was a footballing lesson. If that was a footballing lesson, what do you call us beating you 7-0?
I didn't say it wasn't a footballing lesson.
Good lad.
I didn't say it wasn't. I didn't say it wasn't.
You're not the first person to say that, Dan. I saw it on Monday Night Football last night. Gary Neville and Dave Jones said the same. That was the worst performance than the 7-0. And it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me because that you take that result all day over a 7-0 thrashing. But now you've explained it, I kind of get where you're coming from in terms of how poor you were. But 7-0, man.
All right, so let's keep it though, Dan, right? In 10 years' time, which game are we still going to talk about? You's getting beat to Newcastle.
That's true.
Or the 7-0.
Well, I won't talk about it, mate, because unlike Liverpool fans, I don't go on about history, which is all you've kind of got after, So, in 10 years' time, it'll be a quiz question and a shit pub quiz, and I'll go, oh yeah, that was us actually. Oh well, where are Liverpool now? Oh Christ, yeah, they're still mid-table. Yeah, so I'm not asked.
Get the fuck out of here.
I love Dan. That is quality.
But Pete, on a serious note, mate, from a Man United fan to a Newcastle fan, you absolutely deserved it, 100%. And it was as much as it hurt, it's just another testament to what Eddie Howe's done at your club, mate. It is 100%.
Yeah, I respect that, Dan. And to be fair, you've always been kind of like straight laced with your opinions on Newcastle or just football in general. So I mean, I've had some Man U fans that are just honestly
embarrassing.
Some of their opinions are just crazy. Like it's just crazy. But look, besides the point, I do agree with you. From minute one,
is Errol drinking 7-Up? Is Errol drinking 7-Up? I thought you were drinking 7-Up, bro. That would have been cool. Sorry, mate.
I'm not that much of a troll.
I thought you were doing that on purpose. I caught it late. Sorry, Pete. Go on.
No, I was going to say from minute one, there was only ever one team in it, And I said it on a
it was.
couple of previews on Man U channels in the build up to the game, and some of them were like just not having any of it. Like I keep saying, we're probably the fittest team in the Premier League. We continue to press. We don't do it in pockets of games. We do it for 90 plus minutes. And look, that Dan will attest to that, is that we, even in 1-0 up, even at 2-0 up, even in the 93rd minute, we're still pressing, we're still probing, we're still not even giving Man United a second on the ball. And that, like I said to you guys on the show last time, after the Forest game, and people may not have listened to it because it was against Forest, but that gave me vibes of what we were doing before the World Cup. But this on Sunday, that was what we were doing before the World Cup, and it seems like we've properly turned it around now. And I was worried about the dip in form around January, February time, thinking, is it a hangover of the cup? Is it that we're just having a down moment? Are we going to get it back? Clearly, for me, it was the pressure of the cup and winning a cup. It just took its toll on the team. And now we've refocused. We're now back to where we were before. These boys are doing the business. And let's not forget, we're sitting third in the table right now. We might not stay there. We might not even stay in the top four. But we're sitting third in the table right now with a player like Jacob Murphy, who I thought was outstanding on Sunday, playing in this Newcastle.
Unreal.
That only a couple of years ago was on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, mid-table in the Championship, and he's coming and putting in performances like that. Like it just tells you everything about the team. We had Joe Linton sitting on the bench. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet. He came on after we went 1-0 up. We are putting performances in of a team together continuously now. That's 3 games on the bounce that we've won games. The last 2 very, very convincingly. And I loved everything about that performance. And look, Dan's right. I do think the manner of Man United's defeat was worse than the 7-0. The scoreline doesn't reflect it, but you know what? It should. I've watched that game back, that 95 minutes back, 3-4 times now. And honestly, we should have won. We should have won 5-6-0. And I don't know if Dan will disagree with that. The amount of chances we created in the first half, we should have been walking in 3-0 at half time, easily. And it fills me with confidence that we can go on and put really, really good performances in going into the back half of this season. But we've got 3 tough away games coming up. We've got West Ham tomorrow, Brentford Saturday, and Villa the week after. Before we get, I think we've got Spurs at home after that, and a couple of others that
You're going to get top 4, Pete. You're going to
well,
get top 4. You are.
We are.
100%.
Right,
I said third. I think you get third. I do.
Where I wasn't sure a few weeks ago, we are definitely right back in the mix.
If you're gonna do it, hurry up and put us out of our misery. I swear, I can't. This shit can't drag on for the whole of April. Do you know how many games we've got to play in April? If we're still in a chance of top 4 come April, because one of yous haven't done your jobs, I'll be fucking gutted.
By the end of April, I think it'll be clear where we're going. I would like to, firstly, by the end of April, because there's a lot of games in April, I'd like to have European football sewn up by then in some capacity. So at least then we know we're playing European football. Because I think that's the one thing we need to get off our shoulders, is that are we playing European football next season? I think that's the question around the fan base and all the rest of it. Do I think we're going to get European football? Definitely. But I think it's that in your mind as a fan. I think it's that certainty. Once you've got certainty, you know you're playing European football next season. It's a case, right, we're playing European football. Let's crack on and carry on and do the rest of it.
Dan, on your show the other week, we asked one of the, I think it might have been the Brighton lad.
Yeah.
Is his internal fear about having a good season and being propelled closer to Europe, that the players are going to be picked, the team will be picked apart. That you can't really say that with this Newcastle side, can you? No. Have you got too much of a good structure, you again too much deep pockets really for your players to be picked off now, no matter how good that they perform for you this season? Are they all in basically?
You're in a great place. We're not in a great place.
We're not selling players.
I'm trying to find arguments to give myself some hope here, Potts.
There ain't Errol.
I need an
Honestly,
olive
I
branch
said
or
this.
something.
I've been saying this. Pete knows. I've been saying this for a long time. This Newcastle side have impressed me. Eddie Howe's done a good job. Oh, what you bringing Pete on here for? Race for Europe?
We've all said
All
it.
that
We've all
crap.
given them the
Mate,
flowers.
Newcastle have done it, man. Like, for me, they've still done it with 9 games to go, and now they're looking even better. And Pete's bang on, because as much as I think Botman and Bruno Guimaraes have been wow players like Jacob Murphy, Longstaff, Joe Willock, have all come in and done an unbelievable job. Nobody mentions Fabian Schär, how good he's been consistently this season. Like, they've been a really good side, man. This ain't been a bit of luck because everyone else has been crap. They've actually been really good. Like, fair play. Man United, by the way, are lucky that everyone's crap behind them because they're starting to get dragged down into it as well. But I still think they're easily going to get top 4 because everyone around them are poor. But wow, Newcastle.
I love how much I've triggered. I love how much I've triggered the chat tonight. Absolutely love it. I got people going, "Oh, Richarlison's won the Copa America and the Olympics. How is he better?"
I saw that. Yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. Hold that, boys. Hold that.
The one thing I'll answer about what Errol said is that and I think Lisa's put it in the chat as well.
Nah, tell Lisa, that Lisa, yeah. Tell Lisa, if I want to come and rock up to Geordie Land and buy one of your players this summer, we'll still do that. We've got
How are you going to afford it? How are you going to afford it?
There is no way.
Corner payment, clear
we're not
pay.
sending our best players.
You can't afford, mate. You cannot afford the retirement home for fucking Milner. You have to keep him on another season.
There is no way that we're selling our top players. The likes of Botman, who's on a big long contract. Bruno Guimaraes is still on a long contract, and we're looking at signing him to a new deal. You've got other players in the team. The likes of
ASM was just scary on.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is there is a large section of the Newcastle fans that want ASM sold in the summer.
He's not your best player. He's not been your best player this season.
He hasn't been our best player, but that's what he can produce when he's on it and when he's fully fit. He got pulled at Forest at half time because he had a tight hamstring. We weren't showing the away and we just thought he'd had a poor game. But now he's had 2 weeks rest to come back and he does that to Dalot. Like he had him on strings like on Sunday, time and time again. He was brilliant. And you know what?
We missed Wan-Bissaka against him. We missed Wan-Bissaka against him massively.
ASM got 1 assist for the Willock goal, but he could have had 3 assists in the first half alone. The amount he put on the plate. Willock missed 1. There was a couple of others that missed chances. Longstaff, like he was on point. And we're building, and we're building without without kind of buying players for each position. Like we said, Murphy, Schär, Pope got relegated with Burnley last season. He's on 13 clean sheets.
Quality buy that was. Quality signing that was.
We bought him for 10 million and paid an initial fee of 3 million for him.
I'd like to point out, I said he was going to be signing in the season.
Yeah, I remember that, Dan. I remember you did say that, and I don't think anybody laughed either because they went, actually, it was like, wow, yeah, that's a good shout. And then he's been class, man.
But I just wanted to say just about Man United. I just thought there were your leading players let you down.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was partly because we didn't give you a chance to breathe. But I was stunned by how poor Rashford was. Rashford looked like Rashford of last season, where he couldn't be arsed. You can tell by 10 minutes in, if he lost the ball, there was no effort to win it back. There was no leadership.
Do you know what
though? He looked like a lost puppy.
If he hadn't have been pictured in New York, you could have maybe said maybe they have rushed him back with a knock. But the fact he's pissed off to New York and then he comes back with a display like that, I was just like the fact you've gone to New York, you've not gone away with England, blah 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 blah. You need to be putting a performance in today. But they were all terrible. They were all absolutely terrible. It was shocking. But like I said, that's been United this season away from home. We've been shocking away from home. But I still don't think we miss out on top 4. I can't see it.
Why were you guys time wasted after like 10 minutes? in the game.
Mate, I loved it. I thought how ironic that is with you lot earlier on in this season. Liverpool.
And this is what I didn't get about Eric Ten Hag is that in the press conference in the build-up to the final and the press conference building up to Sunday, he's gone out of his way to mention Newcastle time wasted. He clearly had a tactic of doing that. And he thought it would piss off the Newcastle fans. It didn't. It riled us up. It made the atmosphere even better, which made our players play even better.
Was unreal.
Like, he literally played into our hands. He made a massive, massive cock up by doing that. And it was like 10 minutes into the game.
I think he got a lot wrong that day, though, mate. I think he got a lot. Like, I don't know. They said that Fred might have been ill or something, but I just couldn't. I can't understand. And I don't know if Jace, because you're West Ham, and I don't know what the thing is with McTominay. What the hype is. He's terrible. I don't think he gets into West Ham's side. Jace, I don't know about you, mate.
I agree. I don't rate him at all, to be honest, at the moment.
I just can't see it.
I can't see it as well. I really can't see. I can't see the hype over him. I think it's just because he's an English player, really. To be honest, I think that's what you get. You get a few more credits for that.
Don't say that he's not English.
No, he's not.
Are you talking about McTominay?
Yeah.
He's Scottish.
Scottish.
Sorry, I'm completely wrong there. He walks into every midfield, but he doesn't walk into everyone's, but Liverpool. I'm telling you, mate, he walks in there 100%.
Get the out of here with that shit. No, not even on our worst day. I'd rather have Curtis Jones and Carvalho and Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott playing DM at that before I'd have fucking.
But would you rather have Arthur though? Would you rather have Arthur?
Arthur to me is a FIFA character or a hologram because I've never seen it. And I can tell a lie, I've seen him kick a ball when we played at Barcelona that time, and he wasn't that good then. He's not a football player, man. He should just be selling fucking big issues or echoes for all I care because he's not got the minerals required to be a footy player.
Bloody hell, man. Listen, got to wrap up, but Pete, I have to say, the way things are looking at the moment, I would say that along with us at the top with City, you're still playing the best football and probably have played the best football throughout this
19
season.
19 goals conceded all season.
Yeah.
It's been incredible, man. And I don't know, there's some Newcastle fans that don't want to say it, and I can understand why. A bit like Arsenal fans who don't want to say, yes, it's going to happen this year. Some do, some don't. You've always been one that's kind of been able to chill on there, Pete, because even if things go wrong, you're probably going to come sixth. And that's not a bad season. When you said that in August, you told me that between 8th and 10th was progress. So 6th position is you're in Europe, you go again. I think your transfer window is going to be good in the summer. I really do. I'll be surprised if you don't put in bids for Maddison. Be surprised if you don't try and offer Tielemans something. Be surprised if you don't go for a marquee type and maybe go for somebody like Moussa Diaby or somebody like that on the wing. I'll be surprised if you don't have a good window, man. And Isak is absolute cold, man. I love him. I think he's going to be, I do. I think he's going to be unreal. He'll get better next season. He's looking good, Pete. I can't lie to you, bro.
Eddie Howe said in his presser today that there are 3 different types of transfer.
I love it.
3 different types of transfer targets set out depending on where we finish in the summer. So
Guna for life. Guna Toon for life is just. You've seen that?
What's that? No, is it? All right.
Oh, Guna Toon for life, top man.
What a guy.
Love it.
Sorry, Pete.
No. Anyhow, he set out 3 different transfer plans for the summer. One, if we finish in the Champions League, Europa League, and then anything below that. So we've already got, and he said he used the international break to start his process of the transfers and started watching players. So we'll see how it pans out. But look, it's exciting for us. And in my mentality right now, with 11 games to go, going into the West Ham game tomorrow, is why not attack top 4 and try and get top 4? And if we don't get top 4 and we finish 5th or 6th, that's okay as well.
Jay, do you think you honestly believe, right? And I'm serious when I say this. United are obviously your biggest threat for in top 4, right? To who's going to finish high there. But other than United, who else could ruin your kind of 3rd or 4th? Because
that's why I'm not worried. That's
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Do you know who I think would have more chance? Brighton.
Yeah,
They've got
I
more
was about
chance
to
than
say,
the others.
Brighton won again tonight 2-0 away at
Two games.
Bournemouth.
I'm sure
They've
have
got
2
2 games in hand.
2 games in hand of Tottenham.
Do not rule them out now. You know, Brighton have got a lot of games to fit in before the end of the season, just in the Premier League, because they've got 2 games in hand on everyone else.
It's a small squad, though, isn't it?
It is a small squad, but yet they've not had many injuries.
There's the other thing with that, though, with Brighton. Whereas there's no concern of Newcastle getting pulled apart in the summer, you best believe clubs are coming in and they are gonna rip that
price. Don't get me wrong, you might rip it, but I don't think they're gonna sell at wholesale. And even if they do sell, what Casado's gonna go for, like fucking 70 or 75, nearly 80 mil. Like, considering what they bought him for, that's good dough, Joe. What I mean? Like, they can reinvest that into their squad tenfold. I don't think that's a bad thing. If they was to lose 2 more players, so far the players that they've already lost this season as well, it hasn't been a big drop off.
They've replaced them.
Yeah, they've replaced them to do it.
Do you want to be a Southampton? Because Liverpool did that to Southampton because eventually
it runs out.
It runs out.
Also, Potts, that comment you just put on, can you just put it on again? Because I feel I need to pick up for Jace here.
What one? Go on.
The one about why is a West Ham fan here?
Yeah, we're in Europe.
Yeah.
I will, Jace. I will try my best to be as much like Lawless as I can here. Hang on a minute. Let me get close. Because we're still in Europe, son. That's why.
Exactly. We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Oh,
now you better hope you win that damn competition, or Lawless best. I'll tell you this now. My word.
I swear. Otherwise, we're doing 100-man panel.
I'm just going to invite everybody on. I think just one by one to laugh at him.
I heard it was the bet or something, wasn't it? Or was there a bet?
That guy tries to bet all the time, man. He bet. To be fair, he's going to win £100 off Tobes because he bet Tobes that Son would not finish 10 goals behind Haaland. He'd finish more than 10 goals behind Haaland, and Tobe said, "Yeah, Son will get enough goals," and he ain't scored any, is he? So he's 100 quid up.
Can I ask you all a question?
Of course. Go on, Dan.
Who's your top 4 then now? After the recent results,
Changes,
who is everyone on here's top 4?
I'm going for Newcastle instead of Spurs now. I'm going Newcastle, United, City, and Arsenal.
Yeah, Newcastle, United, I think. Arsenal, Man City. Yeah.
Errol?
No, you don't want to say it.
Yeah, what you guys said, didn't it? What you said in the chat.
I can't wait for the video of Errol at the end of the season walking through his house. I can buy myself flowers.
Pete, you're putting yourself in it now. Top 4.
Yeah, we're gonna. Why not? Why not?
I feel like Pete's Claudio Ranieri. Remember when Leicester were all the way through, and he got to he was like, "Oh no, we'll wait." And then they asked him 3 weeks before, he's like, "We got Champions League, man!" And I feel like that's what Pete's going to be like in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Can I ask you guys a question? The Liverpool and Man United guys, if Newcastle do get Champions League, they got money. Are you scared that it's gonna? Once they get that Champions League, they're going to spend and get the big boys in.
We've been fighting against the tide for years. If it wasn't Newcastle, it was City. If it wasn't City, it was Chelsea. If it wasn't Chelsea, it was Man U. Does that mean that Liverpool are automatically going to be in the mix? No. But do we know what we're up against? I think there's a good chance to know that Newcastle aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon if they get top 4. So you've got to be able to go toe to toe with them. You've got to have a really good project, or you've got to invest in having some deep pockets. And Liverpool have been really good at managing a good project. We just need to get back into that shape again. Is what I'd say.
It all depends on what happens for United. I think if United do get bought out, I'm starting to think that they won't. I don't think it's happening myself. But if they do get bought out by the Qatari owners, then I think it will be fine. But if they don't, it's going to be a long, long, long summer.
Lots as well. It's going to be tough for you guys as well next season, eh?
Listen, it's interesting when you don't put me in that conversation. That's what I liked. Was like, I'm going to put this towards the Liverpool and Man United fans. Newcastle might be back. It might worry. I thought, wow, imagine that. This time last year, nobody had asked him in the top 4, let alone going for a title. It's beautiful. I've always said Newcastle will be there. They will win titles. Facts. Newcastle United will win the Premier League, and it
Look
won't
at
take them
fucking
very long.
Pete's eyes. He just
It won't. It won't take them long. It's facts.
I saw that hat
It is
spinning. I
just
saw that hat
facts.
spinning when it happened.
I'm sorry.
It's
Pete,
just
Pete,
facts.
just remember, mate, I loved you first. Just remember.
Yeah. Look, we've been down in the dumps. We've been down in the championship. We have had a horrible owner that did not care about the club, that sold the
Fans
rights
deserve
off
it,
to
man.
our ground. All of that shit that we had for so many years. Like all the Newcastle fans, Lisa, Craig, Jordan Team for Life in the chat. They know more than anything. We are loving this ride right now. And the one thing that I'll say, I'm not saying we're going to guarantee to winning trophies. I never thought a year and a half ago, I never thought I'd see us win anything in our lifetime. I never thought we'd see us fighting at the top end of the table, like in the next 10 years, a year and a half ago.
Starting to sound like Wallace, mate.
No, honestly, for me,
Well, I was just about to say that. West
our
Ham-
ownership have not taken over Newcastle United to just have us fighting for top four. These guys want to be the best at everything.
Facts.
They want to be the best, but they know it's going to take time because of where we've come from. We were fighting relegation. We were bottom of the league. We gave everyone else 14-game head start, and we still end up finishing 11th off the back of them. They want us to win the league, so they will invest. But we have to do it. We can't do it like a Chelsea or a Man City. We can't do it like that. We have to do it through the right channels. It might take us a couple of years longer, but I do believe that we'll get there at some point. And I do think we'll start winning trophies.
Errol, this whole night it's just been you on mute going.
Facial expressions. Yeah, man, it has.
I just can't cope with it. I can't cope. But you know one thing I do know? Anyhow, Newcastle start winning trophies and titles. West Ham, Jace, you're going to lose a compadre because we know Lawless's first love was Newcastle. So he will shift. He will change his team.
That's why he's got me on here now. He's setting up his new studio. New Newcastle studio.
Magpies.com pod or something like that. It'll be
Victor Serrano. I need to ask Victor Serrano in the chat. Who do you support, mate? Who do you support? Because you keep coming in with comments about us United fans being deluded. I just need to understand. Are you Liverpool or
what's he
what?
saying? This
Yeah, it must be
Anyone
7.
The fact he's put 7.5. It says he's Liverpool.
7 hog. Yeah, there you go.
Arsenal. Okay.
Arsenal. Oh, wow.
Make sure you go follow all the guys as well. A lot of you people don't do enough of that shit. So follow the handles that you see.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, follow me on TikTok, Errol. Follow me on TikTok, bro.
Well, I will. I don't even use TikTok outside of work, but I'll still give you a follow.
Has to be done. Listen, big up people, big up chat. First of all, please smash a like. I need about 100 odd away from 8K. So come on, people. Come and help me get to 8K tonight. We can do that. Smash a like on this. Subscribe. Get me to 8K. Get all of our community involved. Make sure you go and follow these following people. Pete, how can people follow you, brother?
As you can see in the description at the bottom, Loaded Mag, NUFC, on the way to 6K. Come and join us. Come and give us a subscribe and a like to some of our shows. We've got a West Ham preview out from last night with Lawless, although he's unwell. But yeah, come and join us. It's a great chat. We had Dan on last week, absolutely top guest, and we have a really good, just like this chat as well. We have a really good family of people that come onto the chat and are really respectful and come up with good questions and good views.
Great stuff, man. Dan, plug your TikTok and your new channel and all your Man United content, brother.
Yeah, you can follow me. I've put my TikTok handle down there. I can promise you now, there's no half-naked dances. There's nothing like that. It's just me talking about Man United. If I hit 500 followers by tomorrow, I might put a half-naked dance on there. I'm joking, of course. No, come and follow me there. As I've been saying it for a couple of months now. I am setting up my YouTube channel. It will be coming ready for pre-season next season, but at the moment I'm just enjoying utilizing TikTok for the short quick videos, getting my views up on there and just building a community. I seem to be getting quite a fair few views on there, so people obviously either agree with what I'm saying or are trying to look for someone else and just getting onto my videos by accident. But so just keep following me on there and we'll see where we go next season.
Listen, man, it's been about 3 years now since I've known you, so you need to get your own channel. You've always needed it. You're a great lad, and I hope you do well, man, and I know you will. Errol, likewise, bro, Redmen TV and Solitaire Side Up. What you got coming up, brother?
literally, I'll be doing the watch along on Sunday. God help me. So I'll be in the studio on Sunday doing the watch along over on the Redmen TV. So yeah, and I'm doing the live Thursday night pint this week as well. So one of their new flagship shows they've put me on. So I've been invited into the studio to do that with the lads on Thursday evening. So check that out over on Redmen TV. And then yeah, that's just my Twitter. The only social I really fuck with.
Wicked, bro. Wicked. And last but not least, absolute legend having you on debut for tonight. West Ham Fan TV, West Ham Jace. Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. But yeah, West Ham Jace on Twitter. Doing the watch along tomorrow. Obviously, Dan Potts has clipped many clips of me and Dan going nuts and crazy on crying. But yeah, we'll be on the watch along tomorrow, me and Damo. So yeah, tune in to find out if we're going to cry or be celebrating.
Jace, that's the only reason I haven't done a YouTube channel, mate, because I know you'll clip me.
Mate, you put yourself out there, you're going to have to get clipped, man. That's the way it is. I've had enough of it myself. So I normally try and get Lawless in every single clip if I can. Even if West Ham have won, I've been trying to get him in as much as I can, man. It's just too easy to do, man. It's just beautiful. Listen, guys, thank you all so much. You've been absolute legends. Make sure you go and follow these guys. Make sure you go and support their content. Make sure you smash a like on the way out. Help us get to 8K. We're literally, I've just checked, we're about 120 away, if that. So come on, people, we can get that done tonight. Make sure you smash a like on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the Arsenal. Take care, people.